Welcome, everyone, to today's show. A boomer and a Gen Xer walk into a bar, coming to you from the Rabbit Run studio, where you, as our listeners, will experience some wit and wisdom, some smartassery, and a mother and daughter questioning, are we even related? My name is Bobby Joy, and my co-host is my mom, Jane, and hopefully we're here to entertain today. Mom, how you doing?
I'm doing really well, and usually we talk about the weather, don't we? But we're not going to do that today. I'm going to ask you, Bobby, personally, how's your climate? How's your barometric reading? Are you doing okay?
No.
Oh, do you want to talk about it? I'm listening.
We actually do have a winter storm rolling in right now, and so my head is killing me and my joints are killing me. So.
Oh, isn't that funny how that works? Because I've had a lot of breaks and stuff too. And the other day we had a storm, not snowstorm. Are you expecting a snowstorm?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a winter storm.
So my whole body hurt from this stupid rainstorm because I've had so many breaks in my body. But I was thinking about you personally, Bobby. I just want to make sure that you're okay.
Oh, for the love of God. We both know that I'm not. So let's just skip past that.
So I will ask you this, though. Are you healing pretty well after your incident that you had? And are you still having headaches?
Still having headaches. Still actually having migraines every day.
Oh, man.
They gave me a medication to try to stop the migraines every day. It's like a preventative, but it's only kind of dulling them. So next stop is neurology to see what's really wrong with me.
To see what's up there? That's going to be a wasted trip. I got to tell you this, though. I remember last year, I guess it was like, when was it? Maybe October, November. I broke that tooth and found out it was a root canal tooth. And so I had to go in and have it pulled. And there was some type of, other tooth attached to it, because I have those bridges. And so they pulled it, and it's like a year. It takes like a year to get a freaking implant put back in. And so I've been walking around like a crack whore for about the past 7 months. And I mean that just because of my teeth, okay? I don't mean because of anything else. So about a week ago, the other side now, I don't have a tooth on this side. If I smile real wide, I do look like a crack whore. But I go in. I broke the tooth on the other side, which was a root canal tooth. And it's like, oh my goodness, this must be what happens when the Titanic goes down.
Well, root canals, I mean, they actually drill out your tooth, and so it becomes less stable. But yeah, I mean, you and I, we talked about this before, that I don't have back teeth on my upper part of my jaw on both sides. So,
yeah. But he said if he pulled this one, I wouldn't have a way to chew, because then I would have them, and your insurance doesn't cover these implants. It's like $6,000. By the time you get all done, it's like $6,000. And I said, can you just, I won't smile anymore. Just pull that one again. And I just won't smile. And he goes, no, you need it to chew.
Well, they didn't tell me anything about chewing. So maybe it's because I'm fat, but they didn't say anything about
they
chewing.
They figured you would find a way.
They're like, you'll figure it out.
She's got this one down pat. We don't have to worry about her. So guess what Dr. Domain and I did last night? This will kind of shock you.
Oh, I'm wondering.
Yeah. So we were at the bar and here in Cleveland, and we did karaoke. Yes.
Oh, for the love of God.
Seriously. It was fun. And
I'm surprised you didn't run out of town with pitchforks and torches.
No one said that didn't happen. So, but it was fun. And he can sing. He can sing. So he drowns out my voice. That's what happens. So anyway, do you karaoke, Bobby, at all?
Absolutely not.
Can you sing at all?
I think I can, but others might disagree.
Yeah. I love to sing. Too bad I'm no good at it. Your sister likes to sing too, but she's not that great. But I think she's better than me. That's for sure. So anyway, that's what we did last night. Did you enjoy it last night there, Dr. Domain, when we went to do karaoke?
It was different.
It was different.
Yeah, it was good.
It was kind of fun, didn't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know anybody there. What do we care what anybody thinks?
Didn't pay worth anything, but
It didn't pay.
It
No
didn't
one
pay.
gave us any tips or anything
No free
like
drinks,
that.
nothing.
Yeah, and I
So
don't.
nobody was throwing money at you from the
No,
audience.
no, they were throwing things, but it wasn't money. So anyway, I think we are talking about a subject today that not only affects our children, but it is driven not only by children, but also by adults, unfortunately. And what is that topic, Bobby?
Today we're going to talk about bullying.
And why are we talking about bullying today?
Did I bully you last week?
You bullied us yesterday. You bullied us yesterday into what topics we were going to talk about. She's like, we're going to talk about this and this. And it's like, okay, well, thank you very much.
Well, we had talked about bullying before, and you had on your Facebook had made a video where you were outside, and you're an ambassador for something called Battle Paddles, which is a pickleball thing. And you had made that video outside, and I'm watching it and I'm like, wow, this is a really good video. But I wanted to comment something, but I'm like, no, because people say I'm bullying her.
What did you want to comment? The hair on my face?
Yeah, I was going to say, don't ever do the backlight. Don't have the sun behind you, because every time you turned your face, it looked like Sasquatch coming out of the woods.
It looked like I had a 5 o'clock shadow, didn't it? Yeah.
I mean, you haven't dermaplaned lately. I can tell that.
Well, it's funny because, sometimes even if you're plucking, just plucking your hairs on your chin and on your lip and stuff, it's like, dang, Dr. Domain, you couldn't have told me that thing was hanging down there. I could have braided those 3. And
well, he didn't want to bully you.
I know, he didn't bully me. Okay, well, I don't consider that bullying, but yes, I do know that did show up in that video, and I do not care. I do not care, just so you know. But anyway, bullying is kind of a widespread issue, with approximately 1 in 5 students at school saying that, well, between the ages of 12 and 18, that they're experiencing it. Now, I experienced bullying when I was in school. Hell, I bullied.
I was say it's nothing new.
It's nothing new, and people are acting like this is all. Oh my goodness, my child has so much anxiety from being bullied, and my question is always, what is it that they're being bullied with? And have you had experience with bullying, Bobby?
Yes and no. I mean, when I was younger, I got bullied pretty badly, and it was really weird because I got bullied about really stupid stuff. Like, because when I was right around 12 years old, I shot up like a weed. And so I was like one of the tallest kids in my class, and they bullied me for it. And I'm like, what are you even bullying me for? Because I'm tall. Oh my God. God forbid.
You were way taller than the boys, but that's normal. Girls always shoot up quicker than boys do during puberty. But you're tall. You're tall. How tall are you?
I'm like right around 5'10", 5'11".
Yeah. So that's pretty tall for a woman. And I didn't get bullied for that. I've talked about, we were very poor, and I would say not educated very well when I was younger, and did some really stupid stuff. And I remember, being poor, seriously, you go to school dirty, you go to school hungry, and you go to school unkept. That's what I got bullied for. And I got bullied for not being intelligent because my older brother, skipped grades because he was so smart. And it was always, why can't you be like him? And so, I was bullied in that respect. And Dr. Domain, were you ever bullied?
No.
You were the bullier?
No, I hate that term.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't want to.
Why is that?
I just think
Did you get picked on? How about that?
Okay. All right. Picked on. I never even heard the word bullying in school.
Yeah.
I mean, it's some made up word.
Yeah. I remember using the term picked on.
Picked on. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But
I think Bobby's right. It's been around a long time. Unfortunately, what's happened is it falls into one of those categories that, oh my gosh, now, my child has some issues because, let's say that it's bullying. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm saying that, what is bullying? Well, it is repeated aggressive behavior physical, verbal, or social. And it's typically driven by what would be considered by me or you some sort of power imbalance that can, cause us ourselves to think that we have some physical threat, that some type of harm is going to come to us, or it can affect you mentally because you think about it all the time. Now, I got the crap beat out of me in school. I mean,
Same.
I ran my mouth back then too. So this isn't new. This isn't a new skill that I have.
Well, I got bullied for being a tomboy.
Yeah.
For hanging out with the boys. I got bullied for being an emo kid because back then that wasn't cool. I got bullied for being smart because I like to read books, and they would pick on me for reading books, during quiet time in class and stuff like that.
Yeah. And so some of the, we talked about some of the forms of bullying can be today. Unfortunately, we have social networking. And
Right.
I think that is, for kids under 16, I got to be honest with you. I think it's horrible to even let them on there because that's one of the things that really affects how they think, how they feel about themselves, what kind of standards are supposed to,
Right.
And there's a lot of parents that aren't out there saying you don't have to live up to those standards. What they're saying is, oh, you would look cute in that outfit, or you would look really cute with that haircut. Well, they look cute now. They look cute without that outfit. So,
and a lot of these kids, they're getting social media at 8, 9, 10 years old. First of all, what the hell, parents?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
You're setting them up for failure. And, in my opinion, when things happen over social media to minors, to, kids that are under 16 years old, I think the parents have a role in that. They have some responsibility in that, because why in the hell am I seeing 9-year-olds on Snapchat?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you in that respect because, cyberbullying is the most prevalent type of bullying out there right now. And, if you think about it, a lot of people, what do you call it when somebody runs their mouth behind a microphone or behind a camera? Keyboard warrior. They're keyboard warriors. They run their mouths, but then, you get them face to face and they're like, huh, what, who, me? And now they're scared to death of you.
That was huge the last couple of years, especially with our family. The keyboard warriors out there running their mouths about what had happened to our family. And yet when I seen them in public, all of a sudden it was like, oh, bless your heart and everything. It's like, no, bitch, say what you said behind the keyboard. Yeah. Because now that I'm in front of you, all of a sudden this is different.
Yeah.
And, I grew up in the era where our bullies, they were face to face. Like, we got beat up. We got hit in the mouth if we said something wrong. It wasn't this cyberbullying stuff. And here's the thing, my kids have experienced cyberbullying, and I looked at him and I'm like, log off.
Right.
Like, what is right? I'm being cyberbullied. Oh, boo-hoo. Log off.
Right. Exactly. This isn't brain surgery. You have some choices here. And I remember, like I said, getting into fights, and, I got in trouble for it. And it was like, they beat the crap out of me. But the question by my mom and dad was always, what'd you say? What was it you said to start that? Did you say anything?
You guys always asked if we swung first.
Yeah.
Who swung first?
But yeah, not only who swung first, but who was running their mouth first. And, so sometimes all I was told was, well, you deserved that one.
Right.
Maybe that'll stop you. Or, well, that'll teach you to do that. And it did. I mean, it really did. And now, if somebody's kid comes home, we'll say with a black eye, the traditional black eye, and, the parents go, oh my gosh, we're going to hunt those parents down. We're going to go talk to them. All they're actually focused on is your child hit my child. They aren't focused on how did we get here? Because I can guarantee you that children who bully have parents who bully.
Yeah.
Children who bully have parents who bully. It is a typical thread. It is a typical psychological phenomenon that happens. And so, and a lot of times the adults don't really think that they're bullying. They think that they're just standing up for themselves. They're putting their little borders around themselves. I have boundaries. We all have boundaries. You can shove those where the sun don't shine, okay? We all have boundaries, and you're not respecting mine either. But the fact is, you need to think about where this started.
Yeah, it's true. And, a lot of these parents not only are bullies at home, whether it be to a spouse, a significant other, or their own children, even, but there's a huge spike in workplace bullying among adults.
That's a good point. And it isn't necessarily someone who is threatening to hit you, someone who is threatening to, meet you out in the parking lot. A lot of those threats are, I'm going to take you down, with the boss. I'm going
Right.
to do these things. I'm going to expose you because of these things. And yet those things don't even exist. So, yeah.
Well, and the common forms in the workplace include, like you said, verbal abuse, cyberbullying is huge among adults, social exclusion, and sabotage within the workplace.
Yeah, I could see that happening. And I've never experienced that, to be honest with you. But, in a large corporation, and I wouldn't call it bullying because I'm like Dr. Domain. I think that's kind of a pussying out type of term myself. Sorry, folks, if y'all, took offense at that. Didn't mean to trigger you. We'll talk about that in another session. But in a large corporation, especially in the industry that I was in, it was a good old boy network.
Definitely.
And so there were things that were said that were not true. Being an only woman or limited number of women in the entire organization, it's hard. I mean, it's really hard. And so you do face some of that, those false accusations. You face, gosh, I started working, way back in the late 70s. We faced a lot of sexual harassment. Today, I think people would look at that as being bullied. I look at it as sexual harassment. But,
Right.
I don't know. But there are legal ramifications, obviously, right?
Right. There are, but you're also, when you bring forth, the proof of these accusations and things like that of bullying in the workplace, you do face retribution regardless of the company's policy. The company can say, well, it's not allowed to have retribution or anything like that if you come forward with these issues. Bullshit, that it happens, and
Yeah.
it happens often.
It does, and I've seen it also. I've seen that same thing also. But I'm not negating the fact that there is impact to the victims. When I was bullied, but I was bullying too. I was doing the same thing. I think bullying people almost makes you into a bully because you're like defending yourself, and it's like, well, I better become a badass in order to, survive, kind of. But a lot of the victims, will experience deep isolation. I didn't have a buttload of friends when I was in school. I had a few friends that I was close to. They have anxiety. We didn't talk about that. Depression and even some long-term trauma. And I get it. I mean, I really do. I think back of when I get into, some type of discussion with an adult today, I think back of, what happened to me in the past and how I handled things in the past and how I handle them today is totally different.
Yeah, and a lot of times, you had talked about these kids who bully, a lot of times have parents that bully. Well, a lot of times it does start at home. And parents, they have to kind of walk a thin line because you don't want to raise your child to be this, super soft, impressionable glob of crap that's laying on the floor that anytime you come near them, oh, they're scared and they have feelings about it. But at the other end, you don't want to raise these kids who are, physically, mentally, emotionally abused and then turn around to do it to other people. You kind of have to get that in the middle. And a lot of times these parents, they are bullies. They exercise excessive control over these kids. They have social isolation with these kids, making the kid feel guilty or responsible for what the parent is going through, and we've always said, you and I both say, these kids should not be listening to or dealing with adult issues.
Right.
Okay, so if it's my issue, that's my issue.
Right.
It is not going to fall onto my child to have that guilt and that fear and things like that. But a lot of kids, they come from really, really crappy homes. I mean, how many times have you heard, that a kid comes to you and says, you go, "Hey, what's wrong?" "Well, my mom's been calling me stupid and worthless. And, she's having a problem paying bills. So she's been telling me that she's going to take my birthday money to pay the bills, but she's out here doing this. And I don't feel, it starts at home one way or the other. All of this starts at home. Now,
Yeah.
there are some very rare exceptions of kids that I won't say are born like that, but they do have some wiring issues up there.
A little more
And
sensitive, I would say, in some respects. That
well,
you do see that
sensitive or
no one is
malicious.
malicious, or no one has taught them coping skills.
Right.
And a lot of it does stem from the personality of the parents. And I guess I do believe that, if you've got somebody, let's say that it's me and I've got young children at home and I'm working my butt off, and let's say this is you, because this is you, and you struggle to make ends meet sometimes, and you don't know what you're going to do. You're in a financial bind. You feel that insecurity. And, I think that manifests at home and causes a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. And then that's pushed off onto the kids, like you said. And so there are long-term effects to that, because, like I said before, I think a child being bullied can turn into a bully, or it goes the other way. And now I have all these issues. And it's because no one taught me coping skills. No one
Right.
taught me turn that internet off. No one taught me I can walk away. All they say is, "Oh, I'll take care of it for you," or, "You're bullying my child," or whatever. Tell your kid how to handle it. Teach your kid how to handle it. I watched a show the other day. I just want to mention this because it was on our subject. And I remember that the woman said, "I don't want any situation where my child ever in their lifetime feels like they're threatened or are under any undue stress or have to face, blah, blah, blah." And I thought, bitch, you might want to change that tune, because that's life.
That's setting
Is
your child
life.
up for
That is
for
setting them up
failure.
for failure. And she said, she was just, and everybody was like, "Oh, yeah, we understand." And yeah, okay.
Oh my gosh.
That's like saying I don't want to expose my kids to any activities because I'm afraid someone might swear or someone might, say something wrong to them. Give me a break. Life is going to be bad. Life is tough. Get tough and get over it.
And I think we do a disservice to our kids when we have issues like that. Some of us have past traumas as children, and we either continue those traumas onto our children, or we go the complete opposite and we make sure our children never experience any kind of, trauma or, self issues that they have to take care of. I mean, it's a fine line. It's a fine balance as a parent, because you don't want to push off your insecurities onto them. You don't want to, push off your fears onto them and have them carry that on. But at the same time, these parents are also not setting these boundaries of what's acceptable and what's not. One day they'll say, "Well, you can't you can't cuss. And then the next day they're so tired, they say, okay, well, I don't care anymore.
Right.
And then the next day they're punished for it. It's like,
Right.
it's this back
It's
and forth.
inconsistent. Yeah.
Yeah, and these kids never learn what is acceptable and what isn't. And you have these parents where their kids are getting bullied at school, and so the parents will pull up on these children and try to fight these children. And it's like, what are you teaching your children? Well, first of all, I mean, honestly, if a 16-year-old beat up my 10-year-old, I'm going fisticuffs, because that's a grown ass child right there. But at the same time, you don't want your child witnessing that. You need to sit them down and say, what happened? What can we do? What would make you feel better about this?
Right. And I think again, this all goes back to what was the root cause of this to begin with. What started this whole thing? And we may not ever, get to that point because it may be something historical with that child. But, I think what you have to teach your children is you got to negotiate with other people, and you've got to understand, and you don't have to like them. I don't care if you don't like them. But you got to be kind, and you've got to be respectful. And people go, well, respect is earned. I don't disagree with that. But on the other hand, excuse me, on the other hand, as a human being, they deserve respect. And so, if you really want to get out of this thing and you really want to teach somebody, in the meantime, put some thought into the words and your actions on how you address it. Bobby, you had a situation here this past week, and I had to laugh because this involved my granddaughter. You were not, and you were caught on camera with this.
I was.
And
yeah, I have security cameras.
You were not going to let this thing ride. And you want to tell the listeners what happened?
So, let me start off. Let me preface this by, I don't believe that I bully my children. Okay. I tease them some, I get them ready for the real world. There's no gentle parenting going on here, but at the same time, my children know that I'm their soft spot. They can always come to me. So that being said, my 10-year-old was told, because she apparently, her room is a barn and she doesn't ever want to clean it. And so I made her clean her room and get all her garbage put up. And I told her, I said, take the garbage to the outside garbage, to the bin outside, which is right outside our back door. Not an issue. So she goes out and she comes in a few minutes later and she goes, I can't do it. I can't do it. And so I'm like, in my head, I'm going, the hell you can't. And so I walk outside with her and I looked at her. I said, put the garbage in the trash bin. And she kind of lifts the lid a little bit. She goes, see, I can't do it, like where she's throwing a fit. And I'm like,
so I gotta tell you, because I was watching this video, and I don't mean to interrupt you, but it was so funny because she stood. And then, now this is a big garbage can that you would wheel down to the street, when the garbage man comes. She was standing directly in front of it, trying to lift the lid, and she lifted it a little bit, teeny tiny bit, and she goes, see, I told you, I can't take the garbage out. Keep going with your story.
So with my kids, I'm a doer, not a shower. Like, I'm not going to do it for you just so you can see how it's done. So I said, move the garbage bag, stand over here, and lift the garbage lid. So she did, and she got the garbage bag in it. And I said, make sure it's all the way and shut it. And she shut it, and she goes to stomp back inside because she's mad because I wouldn't do it.
Oh, I know she was. She was.
And as we're going in, and I told her, I said, you're not a princess. Ain't nobody doing this for you when you get bigger. And she goes, I know.
It was so funny because all she had to do, and you did tell her, was move to the side of the garbage can so that she could lift the lid all the way up and then throw the garbage bag in there. And it was just, what a learning tool. I mean, that's something you need to post on YouTube or something, because it was so funny.
I thought about it, but then I was like, the backlash, people be like, oh, you're so abusive or whatever. It's like, I was kind of worried for a minute the neighbors heard, but thank God we have really good neighbors that understand my parenting style.
Yeah. And I think there's a difference between bullying and somebody who provides tough love. I'm a tough lover, and a motivator. I would rather motivate you to get that done. I'm not going to bully you. I'm telling you, there's consequences to both your positive actions and your negative actions. You choose. Okay. That's the way life is. There are consequences to everything that we do. And I think that, again, as an adult, there are a lot of adult bullies out there, and they really are just running their mouth, acting like they're all that. And some of them just need to be taken out behind the barn and be whipped, but that's just me. So don't try to gaslight me and make me question my own reality and my own person, because I'll walk away from you. I'll leave you standing, and I don't care who you are.
I mean, the thing that I learned growing up is there's always somebody bigger and badder than you.
That's right.
So, you're going to go out and bully somebody. Eventually, you're going to meet somebody who's a bigger bully than you, and they're going to put your ass in its place.
And it's not just bullying. It doesn't matter if you're in a sport. It doesn't matter if you have a skill. There's always someone better than you. And if that bothers you, then it's your job to get a leg up on them. Right? It's your job to study harder. It's your job to work harder. It's your job to practice more. It's not their job. So, wah. If you think they've got a leg up on you, that's on you. Yeah, there were times, man, I'm not kidding you. When I was climbing the ladder in the corporate world, there were some people that had a leg up on me, and I thought, dang, I want to be the best in that area. I want to be the one making the most in that area. That was kind of my thing, in the corporate world. But that's life. You want to be a better person, show it. You need to practice that. So I think that's probably all I've got for today. Did you have anything else, Bobby, that you want to talk about?
Well, you said that everybody, deserves kindness and respect and everything. Well, I got to tell you, there are certain people that absolutely do deserve to be bullied. Pedophiles. I would bully them to the grave. Anybody that abuses or hurts animals, I will bully the shit out of you.
I thought you were going to say my mom.
Hey, we bully out of love. Okay?
That's right. We're not bullying. We don't use that term. We know how to joke with each other, and listen, we both know how to walk away, and we both know how to say, hey, you know what? Don't say that again. I don't like that. So, and we're good with it. But I think that's probably all the insanity, and it is insanity. And you didn't really trigger me today, Bobby, so I guess I'm okay. We appreciate you all joining us here at the Rabbit Run Studio. Be sure to follow us. We look forward to spending time with you each week. Please like us. And if you have positive feedback for us, or if there's a topic that you want us to talk about, drop us a short email at boomerandgenxer@gmail.com. If you have hate mail, you can hate on that all you want. We'd burn it down, man. We'd just burn it down. So anyway, until next week, I'm Jane Burt.
And I'm Bobby Joy.
And you're stuck with us. Peace out.
Later.